The earliest known ancestor of the chessboard is the Ashtapada board. Among other games, it was used to play chaturanga, a historical precursor to chess, beginning around the 6th century in India. The board uses a single color for all squares and is divided into 8 columns by 8 rows, with marked squares called castles in the corners of each quadrant. Unlike in Ashtapada, castles serve no function in chaturanga. The chessboard acquired its modern checkered pattern in the 10th century with the arrival of chess in Europe. This pattern was based on that of the then 5x5 drafts board. As a result of this change, each diagonal was now highlighted by a continuous sequence of same-colored squares, which later facilitated the introduction of the modern bishop and queen movements in the 15th century. The Libro de los Juegos, 1283, contains a description of the chessboard, describing 8 rows and columns as the ideal number, deeming the practice of chess on the 10x10 board too tiresome and on the 6x6 board too quick. In the 13th century, some players began using the convention that the first square of the far right column should be light-colored. This convention was endorsed by Pedro Damiano at the end of the 15th century. In 2003, the ex-world champion Garry Kasparov faced the chess engine X3D Fritz in a series of 4 matches in a virtual environment, where the computer-generated board hovered in the air in front of Kasparov, who used special glasses. This was the first man-machine game of chess performed in a completely simulated environment. A chessboard is a gameboard used to play chess. It consists of 64 squares, 8 rows by 8 columns, on which the chess pieces are placed. It is square in shape and uses 2 colors of squares, one light and one dark, in a checkered pattern. During play, the board is oriented such that each player's near right corner square is a light square. The columns of a chessboard are known as files, the rows are known as ranks, and the lines of adjoining same-colored squares are known as diagonals. Each square of the board is named using algebraic, descriptive, or numeric chess notation. Algebraic notation is the FIDE standard. In algebraic notation, using White's perspective, files are labeled A through H from left to right, and ranks are labeled 1 through 8 from bottom to top. Each square is identified by the file and rank which it occupies. The A through D files comprise the queen side, while the E through H files comprise the king side. Chessboards have been made from numerous materials over the years, such as ebony, ivory, marble, metal, glass, and plastic. They can also be found as decorative elements in plazas, gardens, and living rooms. High-level games generally use wooden boards, while vinyl, plastic, and cardboard are common for less important tournaments and matches, as well as for home use. Additionally, some very large chessboards are built into or drawn on the ground. Rarely, decorative glass and marble boards are permitted for games conducted by national or international chess federations. Wooden boards are traditionally made of unstained woods that are light brown and dark brown in color. To reduce cost, some boards are made with veneers of more expensive woods glued to an inner piece of plywood or chipboard. A variety of color combinations are used for plastic, vinyl, and silicone boards. Common dark-light combinations are black and white, as well as brown, green or blue with buff or cream. For international or continental championships, FIDE's regulations state that wooden boards should be used. For other FIDE tournaments, wood, plastic, or cardboard boards may be used, and the board should be rigid in all instances. The board may also be made of marble, as long as there is an appropriate contrast between the light and dark squares. The finishing should be neutral or frosted but never shiny. The squares should be from 5 to 6 centimeters in length, at least twice the diameter of a pawn's base. If the table and the board are 2 separate pieces, the latter must be fixed so it stays in place. Chess sets usually had considerable artistic value. They were made of noble materials, such as ebony and ivory, and in large sizes. Many of the pieces in these sets were offered to churches as relics. The book Liber Miraculorum Sancte Fides tells a story in which a nobleman, after miraculously escaping from prison, is forced to carry a chessboard until a sanctuary as gesture of gratitude. However, more frequently, there are stories in which the chessboard is used as a weapon. The French tale of Ogier the Dane reports how the son of Charlemagne brutally kills one of Ogier's sons with a chessboard after losing a match, although there is no evidence confirming the veracity of the story. In 1250, a sermon called Quaidem Moralitas de Scaccario per Innocentium Papam showed the world as being represented by a chessboard. The white and black squares represented the two conditions of life and death, or praise and censure. Over these, the pieces, representing humanity, would confront each other in the adversities of the game, which symbolized life. Due to its simple geometry, the chessboard is often used in mathematical puzzles or problems unrelated to chess, such as the wheat and chessboard problem and the mutilated chessboard problem. The term infinite chessboard is sometimes used to refer to a grid. Variant chessboard shapes and sizes go back to the Persian origins of the game in the 10th century, when the book Miraj Adh Dahab described 6 different variants of chess, including circular and cylinder chess. Due to the widespread creation of new variants, a wide variety of sizes can be found. Glinsky's hexagonal chess utilizes a board with 91 hexagonal spaces of 3 different colors. One innovation of the 13th century was the cylindrical board for use in cylinder chess. The board used for the Persian Tamerlane chess is one of the first recorded variant chessboards, with 11 columns by 10 rows along with 2 citadels. Each player has a citadel to the right of their second rank, which may be occupied by the opponent's king, in which case that opponent may declare a draw. In 1617, Pietro Carrera proposed a variant that received his name, Carrera's chess, with a 10x8 board, later used in other variants such as Capablanca chess and Gothic chess. Other sizes, with 10 rows by 10 columns, are used in Omega chess and Grand chess. Omega chess has 4 additional squares, 1 in each corner of the board. Los Alamos chess uses a smaller 6x6 board. Japanese shogi uses a board with 9 columns by 9 rows. The board of Chinese shanxi consists of 9 columns by 10 rows. Here, the pieces are placed on the intersections of the lines that divide the squares, rather than within the squares themselves. Each player has a 3x3 palace in the central 3 columns and the closest 3 rows, within which the player's general and advisors must stay. Between the central 2 rows is a river that the elephant cannot cross and past which the soldier increases in strength. A similar board without a river is used in Korean jangi. Some chess variants use more than a single board per match. Bughouse chess, for example, involves 4 players playing 2 simultaneous matches on separate boards. Alice chess is a popular variant which is usually played on 2 boards to facilitate the movement of pieces between the boards. 3-dimensional boards are often represented by multiple 2-dimensional boards. Variants may use anywhere from 2 to 8 boards. For example, Roundshock utilizes 5 boards of 25 squares each, totaling 125 squares. Another noteworthy variant, Star Trek chess, utilizes a board of 64 squares divided into 7 levels. Star Trek chess uses a board with movable parts divided into 7 levels. In the initial position, each player occupies 2 of the movable 4-square attack boards. The white pieces start in the lower level, using attack boards connected to this level and the first 2 rows of the board, while the black pieces start at the top, using the attack boards and first 2 rows of the 3rd level.